Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest online event here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill, and I am your e-recruiter here at UC Merced, coming to you live tonight with a great panel of experts behind the scenes, as well as presenting this great presentation tonight that will be focused on the School of Natural Sciences. Tonight's event is one of many events that is part of a larger series called Discover UC Merced. It is a virtual series, and we have many more events that are coming up throughout the month of November, as well as some that you may have missed, or maybe you were there and you would like to watch an on-demand instant replay. Those are available on the events page through the admissions website. We will drop that link for you over into the chat box throughout the presentation so you can take a look and bookmark that for future reference. Before we get started, let me go ahead and give you a couple of quick Zoom refreshers. If you need to adjust your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen. If at any time you would like to zoom into your screen, click on View Options in the upper portion of your window, and you can adjust those options there. Lastly, and most importantly, we always love to get to your important questions. So we do have a Q&A option for you. There's a button on your screen. You can click that and send in those questions. We will get to those during a live question and answer session at the end of our presentation. Once again, we're so thrilled to welcome you here tonight for this virtual event focused on the School of Natural Sciences. Once again, my name is Ricky Hill, your e-recruiter here at UC Merced, and at this time, I would love to hand things over to my colleague and the Associate Dean, Mike Colvin.
Thanks so very much, Ricky. As Ricky said, I'm the Associate Dean for the School of Natural Sciences, and on behalf of all the faculty and staff in the school, I welcome you all to this webinar. And before I talk specifically about our school, I'd like to say a few things about the campus itself, some things you may or may not know about UC Merced. The first is that we're a very new campus. We're less than 20 years old, and that means that we have a lot of the energy and creativity that you associate with a startup. The second is that we've been extremely successful during those 20 years that we've existed. We've grown tremendously in terms of our facilities and faculty, and especially our student body. And we've also gotten a lot of recognition for what we've done here at UC Merced. Just this year, 2023, U.S. News and World Report ranked us 60 amongst all national universities in the U.S. So that's the same ranking that would include any name brand university that you can think of. And we've, in just 20 short years, made it to position 60, and we're ranked 28th amongst public universities in the U.S. So I think a very impressive accomplishment during that short period of time. Finally, I'd like to point out that we are a research university, which gives a special character to the kind of education you'd get here at UC Merced. And Angie, could I have the next slide, please? So why would you be interested in attending a research university? What's the advantage to you as a student here? Well, I should say there's something very special about learning from people who are actually creating new knowledge. In fact, that's what it means to be a research university. It means part of the mission of the faculty and the graduate students and even the undergraduate students at UC Merced are to think about new answers to pressing questions. And in the School of Natural Sciences, we cover a huge range of disciplines where we're creating new knowledge. For just a couple examples, during the recent pandemic, we had faculty in the departments of biology and physics and math and chemistry, all working on different questions associated with the spread and treatment of the COVID-19 pandemic. In areas like math, which you might think of just being about equations or doing calculus problems, in fact, our program is an applied math program where very important questions, for example, how to improve the images we have of objects. These could be galaxies in deep space like shown here, or these could even be X-ray images of a human body getting treatment for something. So that's another area of research we do. And finally, all different elements of environmental science are covered by researchers at UC Merced. This is everything from soil science to understanding how the changing climate is affecting ecosystems or individual plants, and the effect of things like forest fires on the plants and ecosystems that are in the region. So if you're a student here at UC Merced, what you'd be learning in your classes would be directly from the people creating that new knowledge. So in some sense, you would be the first people getting that information. Now, there's another advantage to being at a research university, and next slide, is that you get the opportunity, and very many of our undergraduate students do this, to actually work with the faculty in creating this new knowledge. In every one of our departments, essentially all of our faculty every year host undergraduate students in their labs, both during the academic year and in the summer, where you get to work in laboratories, doing biology or chemistry, working in the field on environmental science, or working on new computer algorithms to solve problems. All of these are opportunities that will be open to you as an undergraduate here at UC Merced. And we also have numerous research institutes that for which a big part of their mission is to support undergraduate research. And these are in areas, everything from cellular and biochemical machinery to health sciences to environmental science. And then finally, the first step toward getting into these opportunities to do research or going on to, as we'll talk later, to careers in science is to come to UC Merced and join one of our many exciting science majors. Now, each of these majors actually is an umbrella that covers a lot of different specialties that you can hear about later or ask about. But these majors include biological sciences and physics and environmental system sciences, chemistry, applied math, and our newest major, data science and computing. And with that, we'll turn over to the other speakers to talk a little bit about the individual majors, and you'll have chances to ask questions in just a second.
Hello, everyone. I'm Noemi Petra. I'm Associate Professor in the Applied Math Department. I'm also the chair of the undergraduate program in our department, and I'm here to present our amazing department and this major. So our department is very applied math, meaning that every faculty has a research experience in various fields, and hence the various emphasis areas that you can see in this table. So applied math has, it's a major and offers minors with emphasis areas in computational and data science, computational biology, computer science, economics, engineering, and environmental sciences and physics. Now, all these emphasis areas have something important in common, and that is math. So in the applied math department, we offer classes to prepare you for jobs related to these areas. So as I said, because it's an applied math department, we have mathematics classes, but with a special focus on the applications. So for the first 2 years, students take calculus classes and lower division math classes. And the second or third year, they start taking more upper division classes with a focus, depending on the emphasis area, with focus on one of these emphasis tracks. But in between, something special that is happening in the applied math department is that we are mentoring all our minors and majors, meaning that every single student has assigned a faculty mentor who will help the student from the beginning to the end. At the beginning, more choosing classes, and then later help the student perhaps find internships, research experience, pretty much build up that CV that will be useful down the road for various jobs. Now, speaking of jobs, our alumni find jobs in various fields, in tech industry, Boeing, Instagram, national labs, finance. Some of them go to medical school, some of them go to grad school. We even have Yosemite National Park in this list. And I would not like to downplay that our students have also the opportunity to get teaching credential along the way if they choose to become teachers or professors down the road. We have several student activities in our department. We are very proud of our SIAM student chapter. SIAM stands for the Society of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. Our students prepare panels and have activities, conferences. They do really great things in our community to bring all the students, undergrad and graduates, together. We also have a math club. So I hope you will join us and explore all these great opportunities with us. Thank you. And I will turn now to the next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Justin Yackel, and I'm an associate professor in life and environmental sciences and chair of the biology program. I personally use theoretical models to explore the evolution of mammals following the extinction that killed off the dinosaurs. The 21st century has been called the century of biology, and it's anticipated to be a period of discoveries we've only really just caught an initial glimpse at. Our biology program at UC Merced is really all about understanding life, but also addressing big pressing challenges that we face as a society, ranging from molecules to ecosystems and scale. And we use lots of different techniques to go about doing this, from laboratory techniques to collecting field data and analyzing field data of organisms in the natural environments, to developing theoretical models. And to do this, our program hosts a diverse suite of emphasis tracks that allow students to really find their own pathways and develop their own skill sets within the biology program. So the first, just kind of going through the emphasis tracks here, we have developmental biology, where the focus is to study how organisms grow and develop from all the way from embryos to maturity, where possible career paths might include being a developmental biologist at a research institution, being an embryologist and assist in fertility treatments, roles in pharmaceutical companies, researching developmental disorders, a huge range of different things. Human biology is another emphasis track where we delve into the intricacies of the human body, from the micro scale of genetics, right, to the macro scale of physiology. Of course, all sorts of different career pathways in the medical fields after further specialization. You could be a biomedical researcher in labs or hospitals, health policy advisor, consultant for public or private sectors. The microbiology and immunology emphasis track explores just the enormous world of microbes that live everywhere, even places that you wouldn't think anything could live, like nuclear reactors, and as well as more things that are at home to us, right? The human immune response and the role of microbes in our own physiology and digestion, for instance. Possible career paths might include being a microbiologist in healthcare industries or research labs, being an immunologist to study disease responses, outbreaks, develop vaccines. We, of course, saw how important researchers in these fields are to us during the pandemic. The fourth emphasis track is molecular and cellular biology, where scientists try to understand cellular processes and molecular mechanisms that drive life. Career paths including being a genetic counselor, aiding patients in understanding hereditary conditions, being a molecular biologist in biotech firms, of which California hosts quite a few very large biotech firms, and prior UC Merced graduates are now employed in some of those big firms. Or the ecology and evolutionary biology emphasis track, where scientists really try to understand interactions among organisms and their environments, and how species evolve, where biodiversity comes from, where it's going, the interactions between agricultural systems and natural systems, the role of humans in maintaining sustainability and sustainable outcomes, with potential career paths including being an ecologist studying natural habitats, being a conservation biologist working with NGOs and government bodies, or basic research, trying to understand what is evolution and how does it work, and how does it work in the past and how does it work in the present. So just an enormous array of possibilities in the biological sciences program. And with that, I will pass the torch.
Okay, well, this is Mike Colvin again. Now I'm speaking as a professor of chemistry, not as the associate dean. And we've organized our slide as sort of a set of tests, like you might imagine in a chemistry lab. And so, if you want to decide if a chemistry major at UC Merced might be right for you, you can look at these different questions to answer. First is, do you know that you love chemistry? There are some people who know that right from the top. And of course, yes, if that's the case, come here. We have lots of different kinds of chemistry, everything from organic chemistry to computational chemistry, which happens to be what I do. Second, if you know that you love science in general, but maybe you aren't sure which you want to go into, there's a lot of options. You learn a lot of different kinds of science if you come here as a chemistry major. It's often said that chemistry is the central science. That means it connects to physics at one end. In fact, we have chemists that are essentially chemical physicists, all the way to biology with biochemistry. It also connects to, if you're interested in instrumentation, we have lots of faculty who work on new ways of measuring properties of chemicals or imaging chemicals at the atomic level and so on. Also, if you're, like most people, considering getting a job at some point in time, chemistry provides an excellent foundation for all kinds of jobs, and also a starting point for places like medical school or graduate school in a lot of different disciplines, everything from material science to pharmacology and things like that. And again, finally, if you're excited about learning some sort of science and you're not sure what it is, chemistry really keeps your options open. If you start with a degree in chemistry, there are very few fields of physics or chemistry or biology that you wouldn't qualify for continued studies. Okay, and again, let me just reemphasize that we have a very broad range of faculty in our chemistry department, and almost anything that might interest you in any field of chemistry, you'd be able to find researchers in that area that could host your research and would be teaching you the new discoveries they've made in their classes. And that's what I have to say about chemistry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rosemary Bongers. I'm an assistant teaching professor in the applied math department, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our brand new major, which is about data science and computing. So data science is all about building tools that we can use to take real world data and turn it into models, knowledge, and predictions. It's something that's been incredibly hot in the news recently with the development of things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, tools like ChatGPT. These are applications of data science. A lot of large corporations like Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, they've been making very large investments in building teams to use data science to solve real world problems. It's also something that really is starting to come up in just about every field of applied science. So in economic modeling, political polling, understanding pretty much anything about the world that involves data, we're going to be talking about how to work with that data. So our program is going to involve building a lot of experience with different aspects. So we start with the applied math, things like calculus, statistics. We also incorporate a large number of coding tools. So a lot of courses that are going to give our graduates the tools that they need to actually solve problems on a computer. And then finally, the domain-specific courses in data science, things about data ethics, about the particular models that people use, about the different ways that you can carry out machine learning, things along those lines. And throughout the program, students will also frequently have the opportunity to work in undergraduate research while they're on campus, or work with a large company doing a summer internship. So there's a lot of opportunities to build real-world skills and an actual portfolio that students can then take forward into an industry job. We also have a lot of different emphasis areas. So pretty much any of the other majors there within the School of Natural Science, there's an emphasis area that will integrate data science and computation with those particular areas. So if you're interested in biology or chemistry, for example, then you can have a focus in those areas and bring that into a job doing something like drug research or pharmacology. We also have emphases in areas such as material science or in physics. So this can be really, really applied to a lot of different areas. And this is a very, very employable field. There has been a ton of growth in recent years and a ton of investment by both companies and the government in building employment. So it's a hot area that's just getting better as time goes on. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about this program later. But for now, I'll hand it to Sylvain.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Sylvain Merced. I'm an assistant teaching professor, and I've taught about 10 different ESS courses. And so why the ESS program? Well, maybe because you want to save the world. And in fact, ESS program really will lead you to jobs that are necessary now, but will be necessary even more in the future. The ESS program is an interdisciplinary topic program where you will learn skill, get knowledge that will give you the perfect tools to get a job, to make our planet better, to provide, to give back to your community and make, in fact, our community living in a better place. So you might think it's big words, but in fact, with this program, we have two potential tracks: the ecosystem science track and the earth and climate science track. With these two tracks, you may learn, you may take courses such as, for example, conservation biology or plant biology, courses such as air pollution and resources or ocean science. And with that program, you can end up working in jobs at different levels, earning at least it's estimated nationwide that people working with an ESS program earn at least about 65K per year. And you can be working locally in, for example, an agency such as San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, which will try to improve the air quality of the Central Valley. You can be working statewide in the California state parks. Nationally, you could be working with the US EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, or even internationally for the World Wildlife Fund, the WWF, the PANDA agencies. And so you really have great opportunities. On the slide, you see a couple of examples of the different jobs, but in fact, it's way more than that. It's a very dynamic program led by accessible and diverse professors. And as Professor Colvin said a couple of minutes ago, you can work very closely with the professors, with the grad students in the lab. You can get field experience working, for example, in the Sierra Nevada or in the local vernal pools. You can get also experience in labs working with the grad student, for example, on different topics such as air pollution or water pollution, soil extraction and analysis, doing some isotopic analysis, or maybe DNA analysis of bones from thousands of years ago. We have faculties studying very interesting topics such as, for example, megalodon tooth from millions of years ago, to the impact of wildfires on the local climate and global climate. Other faculties study jellyfish population in Indonesia, in Central America, for example. We have people looking for more geological topics, such as, for example, the change in erosion over the Sierra Nevada. So we do have a program that is focusing on the local, but at the same time also on the global field, and that give you the opportunity, in fact, of offering a lot of potential and getting many possible jobs after that. And with that, I would let Brian following up.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Brian Utter. I'm a teaching professor in the Department of Physics, and want to share with you some of the things that we're doing there and why it's an exciting place to be. If you're interested in physics, you're probably very much like me, where I took a high school physics class and I just found it fascinating to think about how we might understand the workings of the world, whether that's from the quantum mechanics interactions of subatomic particles up to the galactic formation at the largest scales that you can imagine. So physics is all about, we're all about finding knowledge. Physics is about understanding how the physical world works, what the rules are that govern it, and how we can maybe use those rules to do interesting things in applications in the future. A couple of my colleagues have already mentioned the idea of emphasis tracks, right? These are ways of taking, for instance, in this case, the physics major, and honing in a little bit on a specialty within that. So the physics major would have the same introductory courses for the first couple of years, and then as an upper division student, you would take a few courses and your electives that would focus on a certain area. And you can see the range of emphasis tracks that we have there, not that you have to have one, but ranging from astrophysics, biophysics, computational data science, engineering and applied physics, mathematical and computational physics, and quantum science and technology, or you can also design your own custom emphasis. That also gives you a little bit of a sense as to the types of research that faculty are taking part in over in the department. And research has come up as well as a research institution. In physics, actually, every student gets to write a senior thesis. And I say gets to instead of has to, because it really is an opportunity. So all students do have to write a senior thesis, but that also means that you will be working in the labs of a faculty member along with their postdocs and grad students and other undergraduate students, working as a team on an aspect of physics very related to those emphasis tracks that I just mentioned. So research is something that certainly all of our students get involved in, and many do even before they, quote, need to. So you would have to take a couple of courses in your senior year, but many of our students get involved as early as their first or second year, with opportunities as well to stay around on campus or to complete research at other universities to get paid and get some interesting experience, to get to know a faculty member really well through that context. So that's really an exciting opportunity for us here. One of the things that I honestly wasn't, even though I knew I enjoyed physics and I ended up as a physics major as an undergraduate, I, even at the time, probably wasn't entirely sure what a physics person did in the end. And it turns out part of the reason for that is, well, one is that I knew my high school physics teacher who inspired me, and that was a big reason why I got into it. But also, a lot of physicists have careers with job titles that don't have the word physics in them. So working on a variety of research and technical fields, or in the financial sector, or teaching certainly being one of them, but all sorts of engineering and research sort of related professions, because ultimately we learn how to take complex problems, simplify them to the basic building blocks, try to understand those interactions. And so that ability to grapple with complicated problems, kind of hone in on the details, and figure out the basic elements at work, are really the skills. Those critical thinking skills are really what we're ultimately hired for. And so, as with all of the other majors that have been represented here, high-paying jobs are a good possibility, and certainly finding jobs in the first place. And then the last thing I just want to mention is that, as somewhat of a smaller department compared to some of the fields here, we have a really nice community within the department. So faculty interact very closely with the students, but the students also interact very well and very closely with each other. There's a Society of Physics students, a Women in Physics group, and an astronomy club. The last astronomy club, I think, got something like 100 people out looking at telescopes. And so there's a really vibrant community of students in the department. And so if you're interested in physics, I certainly encourage you to reach out, and would welcome to see you here in the fall. So with that, let me hand it off to the Director of Student Services, Erica Robbins.
Thank you, Brian. So again, my name is Erica Robbins, and I'm the Director of Student Services here in the School of Natural Sciences. So as mentioned by our presenters, a degree from natural sciences really opens doors to an array of careers, and it really comes down to, what do you want to do? What are your career goals? And so in student services, we are here to facilitate those conversations and to help you choose which pathway, which major, which emphasis is going to help you get to that career goal, whether it's industry, graduate school, professional school, or whatever. So just to kind of piggyback on what other examples were already shared in terms of career options, you can go into healthcare, data science and programming, banking and finance, teaching at all levels. There's going to be a little more information on some programs that we have that help support K-12 teachers. Agriculture, technology, laboratory science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, technical business law, or technical or business law, and then other technical sciences. So really it comes down to, what is the student interested in, and how can we customize that degree program to help them reach their goals. Next slide, please. So what does that preparation look like? And so I really appreciate this illustration, because it really shows, what does it look like? So a bachelor's degree is going to take you about 4 years. After that, what does that next step look like? So if you're interested in medical school, allied health, other health professions like pharmacy, dental, vets, or nursing school, that's another 2 to 4 years after you've completed a bachelor's degree. If you're interested in a master's degree program, it depends. You could go into a lot of different areas. So depending on your area of interest, that could be another 2 years, maybe 3. You can go into administrative professional positions or other industry or business opportunities. Business or law degrees, so advanced degrees like an MBA or a JD, those are about 2 to 4 years. If you were headed into a lawyer or interested in law or public policy. And then finally, if you're interested in creating new knowledge, joining faculty, or working in a national lab, a doctorate or a PhD program will take you 4 or more years. But again, that opens doors to being a university professor, or actually working as a researcher and finding new knowledge. So with that, I will pass it over to Assistant Dean Angie Salinas.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now that you've had an opportunity to hear about all the wonderful things that our faculty have to offer, our programs have to offer, I want to share a little bit about what does it mean to have success at UC Merced within the sciences. We know that the sciences are very hard programs to go through. And we also understand that you as an incoming student want to know what other support services are out there to help support you. And so first thing I want to share is that there's quite a bit of different resources we have for you as a science student. The first is academic advising. You heard from Erica. Erica is the director of student services, but she also is an academic advisor. Within the School of Natural Sciences, we have professional academic advisors. You can think of them as similar on the same lines of maybe a high school counselor. They can help you identify what your requirements are for your program. They can help you identify areas that you maybe need help on. So if you want to add a class, drop a class, maybe you have some questions about internships or resources, your academic advisor is probably going to be the most visited person you meet at UC Merced. But in addition to that, we have a pre-health advising program. June Verano is here, and he's the director of our pre-health advising program. So feel free to drop in any questions you have about advising in terms of maybe professional schools that you are interested in, medical school, pharmacy school, dental school. June will be able to answer those questions in the chat. We also have a really great program, the Excel program. So as science students, we understand that some of these courses may be more difficult than maybe you were anticipating, or you just need a little extra help in terms of getting that support to pass some of these difficult classes. We have the Excel program, and it's intended for science students who may be having some academic difficulty in their classes. The idea behind this is we have academic coaches who will support you and get you back into academic standing, good academic standing. And so it's a really great program that is, again, specific to our science students. Additionally, we have the STEM Center. So if you're interested in participating in resources, or I'm sorry, in research, if you're interested in tutoring, this is the area that you'll want to go to. We have the STEM Center that has tutors directly for you that will help you in terms of any classes that you may need help in. In addition to that, we have some unique learning opportunities. We have the natural sciences living and learning communities, which are academically focused and also allow you to explore career fields. So basically the living learning communities gives you the option to live on campus and live amongst other students who have the same type of interest that you may have. Specifically for the School of Natural Sciences, we have Aristotle House that focuses on leadership and teaching, which is closely tied to, say, the UC Merced Cal Teach program that I'll touch upon here in a moment. But we also have Carson House that focuses on climate science, ecosystems, earth system sciences. So if you're interested in that, there's actually a place in the dorms where you can meet other students who have those same interests. And finally, we have Beyond the MD. Beyond the MD is an additional living learning community. And it's exactly that. It's all the other professions outside of becoming a doctor, right? So there are so many other opportunities within the medical field. If you're interested in learning what those opportunities are, a good option for you would be to consider living within the Beyond the MD living learning community to really just gain a better understanding of what opportunities are out there for you. Now, in terms of the UC Merced Cal Teach program, I believe Noemi had spoke to it, our applied math program here. We have students that may be interested in going into teaching. So if you want to become a K-12 teacher, as you may or may not know, you're required to not only have your degree, but also have a credential. And that typically takes about a year. With the Cal Teach program, as you enter UC Merced and you decide you want to become a teacher, you can participate in this program. And part of this program allows you to do internships and student teaching. We have a partnership, a really great partnership with UC Berkeley, where our students who are interested in the Cal Teach program are able to go and do internships with UC Berkeley, come back, and eventually hopefully graduate with a degree, but also with their credential to go into the teaching field. It's a really great program. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat if you have specific questions to that as well. Finally, resource jobs and internships. We know that as students who come in and majoring in the sciences, typically come in with already a goal in mind and where they want to go, but we have a great Center for Career Professional Advancement office that really helps support you in those endeavors. So if you need help with on-campus employment, internships, updating your resume, maybe putting together a really nice cover letter, knowing what to prepare for in terms of interviewing. This is where you'll want to go. It's a really great resource that many of our students utilize. In addition to that, we have the STEM Career Specialist. And the STEM Career Specialist is really for you as a science student. This person is wholly dedicated to making sure that you have the opportunities and the resources you need if you're interested in going into any of the science fields. So this person is housed within the Center for Career and Professional Advancement, but they work very closely with Erica, our academic advisors, and getting you the information you need to make those decisions in terms of where you want to go after graduation. All that being said, we hope that you consider UC Merced, you consider the School of Natural Sciences. I want to thank you for listening to all the great presentations, and I'll pass it over to Ricky. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angie, and to all of our fantastic content experts tonight. We had a jam-packed presentation. We covered a lot of ground tonight, and now this is the perfect time for us to get to your questions live. So if you haven't yet sent in your question, feel free to do that now. You still have time. Go ahead and click on the Q&A button, send that in to us, and our content experts will be joining me on the screen here as we start to dive into those questions. So let's take a look. One of the first ones I'd like to start with here is, can I double major in a natural sciences program?
Let's see, this is Mike. I'll take a first shot at this because I just earlier today, I was looking into this question of double majors, and by my count right now, we have about 40 students double majoring in the natural sciences, and then a much larger number of students who are in a science major or majoring in science and also doing a minor. So that, you know, those are both options depending just on how deeply you want to get into the second field. Either you can do a minor, which a lot of students do, or a double major, which a fair number do. And Eric or Angie, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that answer.
Sorry. Yes, that is absolutely right. And so your academic advisor would sit down with you and help you kind of figure out how do those classes look? How do they work together? What courses can be shared between the two, and help you make some strategic choices in terms of putting your class schedule together.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our other questions here. So what do I actually need to do to declare a major? How do I get to that point?
I can take that one too. So my recommendation, apply to the major that you want on the UC application. So that's like first step. If you get to UC Merced and decide, whoa, that is not what I thought it was going to be, I really want to be physics, then you can consult with your academic advisor and they will walk you through what does that look like, and then share. It's a very simple form that students can complete online to change that major.
Very good. And then how do we get involved with research opportunities?
I'd be happy to field that first, but then I think it would be good if people from the individual other disciplines could talk about it. First of all, there are many programs on campus that you can apply to, and there's an office where you can go to where they'll have listings of research opportunities. But an advantage if you're in a science major is that you will meet the science faculty in your classes and when you're taking the classes. And the way many of the students who've worked with me have done research with me is they've just been taking one of my classes. And at some point they say, you know, I really find this interesting and I'd like to work with you. And you just talk with the professors and figure out how that's going to work. And you can actually sign up for credits for research. So it's almost like taking a class that's research, or sometimes you can set up doing research in the summer with your professor. And as you heard from some of the faculty in the other disciplines, there are majors where doing a research project is actually part of the requirements of the major. And I'll let anyone else jump in who would like to answer at this point.
Yes, we'd like to welcome on any of our content experts who would like to join into the conversation tonight.
Just to add that certainly UROC, which was just mentioned under our Graduate Research Opportunity Center, is a campus-wide program, but certainly in our department, a lot of it happens pretty informally. Just as Mike was saying, that you sort of find out that certain faculty members working on something that's interesting, whether that's overhearing about it or seeing on the website. Starts with just a conversation of, hey, what are you doing in the lab? Are there any opportunities for me to get involved? And that might lead to going to one of their weekly group meetings or starting on some small project and having that grow. So I'll just say, without being too specific, there's lots of avenues, and there are lots of opportunities to get involved both locally as well as more formal programs that UROC might focus on, as well as set you up for summer programs and things like that, RUs. And I think, I don't know, the RU programs, the research for experience for undergraduates, we actually run one for physics, but these programs exist throughout other universities and provide opportunities for students at UC Merced, for instance, to go work in other places for a summer.
Thank you, Brian. Does anyone else want to chime in?
I can just, in fact, repeat a little bit what has been said. I mean, informally, you can easily get in touch with the different instructor, which could be already research faculty, they can be teaching faculty, they can be lecturer, they can be grad students steering for the class, and all of them, at least if they don't have maybe the options to take you in the lab, we all kind of have, like a big family, communicate, and we can provide, we can give some recommendation, we can provide some guidance, and also talk to our colleagues about potential students. And in the past, I have seen, for example, students contacting the TAs and starting to work, I mean, with the acceptance of the faculties, those students starting to work in the lab. So there is really a very a nice thing with UC Merced, that we are very a small and caring community that in fact allows that transfer of knowledge, and also this collaboration from the students, in fact, up to the faculty going through the grad student, and give you the experience in lab or in the field.
Very good. Thank you all so much for your contribution. I'll pause for just a moment in case anyone else would like to jump in, but it looks like we will go ahead and,
I have one more small
Sure.
thing to add. So like everyone else in our department in applied math, or majority of research with undergraduate students happens organically in campus, and also in collaboration with the undergraduate research opportunities. For instance, I worked with the undergraduate students. I recruited them from my class, basically upper division classes. The students came to me and asked for opportunities, and when the opportunity happened through grants, I invited them to apply. I also want to bring something else to the table. So our department is also making a big effort to collect opportunities from outside. So for instance, Lawrence Livermore National Lab has this wonderful applied math and computational math internship opportunities during summer. So we try to inform students about all these research opportunities that are happening, not only at the university, but also at relevant research labs and other places. That's all.
Very good.
So lots of options.
Yes, such fantastic information. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the question that we had come in about comparing a couple of our BS degrees. So let me go ahead and read it here, and then anyone who would like to chime in on this one is also welcome. So the question is, what is the difference between the two BS degrees of data science and computing, BS, applied mathematics emphasis, and the other would be applied mathematical sciences, BS, computational and data sciences emphasis?
I can go first. Sorry for speaking too much. So applied math with data science emphasis and the data science and computing major, they share lots of math classes. In fact, of course, it makes sense because both target computational sciences and engineering applications, right? The major difference is that the general applied math major with the data science emphasis covers a broader range of mathematics. So for instance, maybe the students who are majoring in data science and computing might not be interested in taking partial differential equations or numerical methods to solve differential equations. Perhaps the students are interested to data-driven learning, which is more under the umbrella of data science and computing, if it makes sense. So the applied math major with the data science emphasis is a little bit broader from the mathematics point of view, whereas the data science and computing major is more focused on data science, but it's broader in the emphasis area like biochemistry, physics, if it makes sense.
Hi, welcome.
And I'd like to just second that yeah, exactly what Noemi said, that the data science major is going to be focusing a lot more on the domain-specific applications for data science. So both degree programs are going to involve giving students a really strong background in the mathematics that they need, but then they're going to have some branching in the upper division courses in terms of what they're actually focusing on. But both of them integrate a lot of different tracks, so you can apply them to a ton of different areas.
Very good. Thank you so much for that information. All right, I'd like to move on to our next question here. So what type of advice would any of our content experts, any of you are also welcome to come back on screen, what type of general advice can you give to an incoming student, be that a first-year freshman or a transfer student, who is interested in declaring a natural science major?
Rosemary, I'll let you go first.
All right. Yeah, I can give one piece of advice, which is come and talk to your professors, talk to them in office hours, talk to them about what research they're working on, see what's going on around campus, see if you can get connected with resources that you're interested in. Forming those relationships really early on can be really, really helpful throughout your degree program.
And thanks, Rosemary. That's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. This is Mike Colvin, that, you'll find that the faculty are very friendly and open to answering these questions. I mean, it's part of the fun of being a teacher is to meet, sort of the new generation of people interested in going into some sort of science or math. And we can talk to you about our experiences. And many of us have trained students over the years who've taken many different career paths. And we can just talk to you about what opportunities are out there and kind of, what are the benefits or what are the, the challenges we see in different areas. I think it's easy to find professors to talk to you about this advice. And of course, the advising staff has seen many, many students and can talk to you about the experience they've had going forward in different majors. So there are lots of resources on campus to help answer that question. And I think you're doing the right thing to come in with sort of an open mind and exploring lots of different exciting opportunities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike. All right, our next question. How can pre-health advising prepare and support me for a field or career in health and science?
Hi, well, in terms of pre-health advising, I tend to meet with students individually as well as in group and provide them with the advice to help them to become a competitive applicant and hopefully a successful applicant to medical school down the road. I talk to them a lot about different options that are available. A lot of times, students nowadays will take time off before applying to medical school. So maybe a generation ago, the entering first-year medical school class was averaging 21 years old. And now people tend to take time off to get a master's degree, PhD, volunteer in the Peace Corps, work. And so now it's about 25, 26 years old who are first-year medical students. So I talk a lot about all of those different options, and I also provide presentations on applying, interviewing, writing your personal statement for medical school.
Very good. Thank you so much for that information. And if there's anyone else who has anything else to share, otherwise we will move on to our next question. The next question has to do with jobs and internships that are available on campus, specifically related to the School of Natural Sciences and anything that's related to that field.
I can take that one. So we work very closely with our STEM or natural sciences career specialist in the Center for Career and Professional Advancement of the Student Career Center. And so they have a really awesome system where students can go in and set up a profile, tell it what you are interested in, what your major, upload a resume even, and then it'll start to send emails with opportunities. And so depending on what you're interested in, it'll send you different things. And so then you can kind of pick and choose which ones you're interested in applying to. And then the Career Center also provides support with resume updates, interview skills, getting you ready to go and meet with those prospective either employers or internship hosts. So there are opportunities out there. It really, again, it just depends on what do you want to do? And that's what I always ask students, like, tell me what you want to do first, not what you can do. Tell me what you want to do.
Great advice, Erica. Thank you for that. Hi, Mike. Welcome back.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mentioned an exciting opportunity that a lot of our undergraduates are taking part in now is to be a learning assistant, right? So this is someone who actually works in a class. Usually when you're an upper division student, and this is happening in physics and math and now other majors, where you actually participate in the teaching of the classes, which I think people are finding really rewarding and excellent preparation if you want to eventually be a professor or a teacher.
Very good. Now, I know I've seen a couple of questions coming in regarding the field of nursing. So a general question that did come in is, what major at UC Merced would lead to nursing? So what advice can we give our listeners tonight related to that?
Well, for nursing programs, really any major can lead to acceptance into a nursing program. However, the vast majority of applicants who do apply and are successful in the application process are typically science majors. And the reason for that is the prereqs for nursing programs are already built into the curriculum for their major. And so it could be a little more challenging if you were maybe a sociology major to be able to fit the different chemistry and biology and physics courses into that curriculum versus being a biology or biosci or BCPM major.
Very good. Thank you so much for that. Another question coming in. Do we have any type of meteorologist major?
This is Mike. I can say a few words, and this is something also somebody else might want to weigh in on. My understanding is meteorology is often to focus on that. Usually that's something someone does at a graduate school, a master's at the PhD level. And but the environmental science or even the physics majors or applied math major we have would be excellent preparation for going on into meteorology, because that basically is sort of the combination of physics, math, and understanding of the environment. So I think we could prepare you very well to go on to subsequent studies in this, but it's not typically something you get say a bachelor's degree in. And oh, good. Looks like Sylvain's coming on.
Yes, sorry. I will exactly support what you just said, Mike. In fact, meteorology, as you mentioned, tend to be combining those three main fields, which is mathematics, physics, and environmental sciences. So when you are doing your studies, definitely you need to focus on those three fields in this case for that topic. But again, it's not you don't get a bachelor. It's something that meteorology, you will have to look for after the bachelor to specialize, as Mike said, potentially a master, more preferably even a PhD, because in environmental, the ESS program will give you some basics, more like a qualitative describing approach. But for the pursuing of that topic, you will definitely have to go deeper into the math and into the fluid mechanics that is in fact usually described in physics, if I'm correct, Brian.
Thank you so much for those great responses. And the last question tonight, as we are getting closer to the top of the hour, what type of main takeaways would all of you here in this program, all of our content experts, what type of takeaways would you like the prospective students who are listening tonight and their families and guests that are with them listening to you, what takeaways would you like them to have after this event to kind of keep in mind while they're making their decisions?
I'm always happy to start with an answer. I would say, feel empowered to reach out to UC Merced, or to be honest, any institution you're thinking of attending, to ask questions. Though, there are staff professionals and faculty that are always happy to answer questions, and this is an important decision you're making about, which college to go to, or what major to go into. And so definitely take the time to reach out, and people are very open and friendly about answering this. So don't be shy at all about emailing any of the people you've seen today, or either the staff or the faculty, and just reaching out to the institution and making sure it's right for you. And also, if at all possible, taking the time to visit. There are a number of special days where we're set up to host people. But if you can't do that, just arrange a visit. And if there are people you want to talk to when you're on campus, email them and tell them you're coming.
You are a mind reader, Mike. I just now dropped into the chat box that link for the campus tours. So please, anyone that's online, go ahead and take a moment, click on that. You can bookmark that or take a look at that in just a few minutes whenever we do close out our event. But like I said, that is the best way to get in touch with us to schedule an in-person tour. However, we also offer many other options there. So take a moment, take a look over there, and you can visit us. Actually, even if you don't schedule a time, you're welcome to come to the campus at any point. Pop into some of our offices. You will more than likely run into at least one of us. We do have a very family feel to our campus. And, you know, as Mike mentioned and many others, if you have questions about anything, you can come up to any one of us and we'll make sure that if we can't answer your question, we know who can, and we will definitely connect you with that person. So is there anyone else on tonight with us who would like to offer any type of takeaway or last words of advice tonight?
I would just say that as a student, you count. You count as an individual. You count as your willing, your ideas. We are a small community again that listen to everyone. I was before being a professor. I was in fact a grad student at UC Merced, and I have the chance to. I have the chance to see it growing, but it has kept this into its core, the fact that everyone counts inside of this university. And so you have also the chance to grow and to learn from everyone in this university.
Thank you so much. Such valuable words and insight tonight from everyone who has joined us. We had quite the crew on behind the scenes, as well as those folks who were online and on screen with me tonight, presenting and answering all of the wonderful questions coming in. A couple more things I would like to mention here as we are closing out. Definitely check that chat box. We did also drop a link over there for you for future events, both in person and virtual, just like this one. Another event is happening as soon as tomorrow, and it is focused on the School of Engineering. So it will be very similar to the event that you joined us on tonight. You can hop onto that events page, get yourself registered, and I will personally send you that invitation link for your Zoom participation. However, also on the events page, you will find all of the on-demand instant replay links in case there's an event that you missed, or maybe you were here with us, but you'd like to rewatch and get some more information from that. Take some screenshots perhaps, or jot down some contact information. So please take a moment, click on that link. And of course, if you forget to do that or you lose track of it, you can always look us up online, admissions.ucmerced.edu, and you'll find everything that you need there. There is a link at the top of that page that does say the word event, so you can also find us that way. One other thing I would like to send over to you, and I will go ahead and send this over in the chat for you. It is called Experience UC Merced. So if you go to that website, you will get the full description of the new event that's starting November 1st, and it runs through November 17th. There are so many options there for you to choose from, but basically with that event that spans that entire time from the 1st through the 17th, you will get the opportunity to experience the classroom setting. So we have a very long list of courses that you have the opportunity to register for one of those and actually go in person and attend as if you're a current Bobcat, a current UC Merced student. So what better way to get firsthand experience than actually being there in a live and active class? It's not a mock-up, it's not anything like that. It is a real course that you can actually enjoy that lecture and see what that is like firsthand. The other opportunities on that day would also include a campus tour, so you can get that wrapped right up into that same day. And you also will be able to enjoy a lunch at our Pavilion Dining Center. So please take a moment, hop over there. There are boundless opportunities for you that day. Outside of those few things that I mentioned, you can of course pop in, talk to any of us that are there, and we will definitely be happy to meet you in person. And I guarantee that you will see all of us on many more events online. So we would love to also get the opportunity to meet you in person. Once again, don't miss out on future events. We do have about 3 per week happening through the month of November. And speaking of November, we are full of events that are specific to that UC admission application. On that events page, take a look and get yourself signed up. And we are having hour-long sessions that focus on particular sections of that UC admission application. So if you're already starting that, you're way ahead of the crowd. And if you have any questions, jot those down and hop into any one of those upcoming events. And we will gladly get to your questions live, just like we did tonight. And one last reminder, that UC admission application is due November 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So if you haven't yet started, now is the best time. Go ahead and hop right in, start writing up some of your personal insight questions. And if you have any questions for us, as I said, we definitely would love to see you at one of our future events. Once again, it's always such a pleasure for me to be here as your e-recruiter, and my name is Ricky Hill. You will see me here on all of these fantastic events coming up, and I definitely hope that you join us as well. We really appreciate your attendance tonight. Have a great night, everyone. Hope to see you soon, and best of luck. Take care.